Hello, bookish friends. I have acquired a stack of books, so I thought I'd go over them real quick. And my daughters have both been sick. You might hear them playing in the background, so I don't know if I'm going to get what they have. So I might get sick. 'Tis the season. So I'm going to go over this stack of books I've acquired, plus what I want to read in December. Eve in Exile sets aside all stereotypes of mid-century housewives, of China doll femininity, of Victorian fainting, of women not allowed to think for themselves or talk to the men about anything interesting or important. Once these fictionalized stereotypes are out of the way, whether they're things that make you gag or things that make you think look pretty fun, Christians can focus on real women. What did God make real women for? I actually liked the first sentence of the introduction, so I'm going to read that. You and I have both been born into a world that's at war with boundaries. Yes. And then chapter 1, or section 1. 2 distractions. As we tackle the subject of what biblical femininity looks like, it's important to first identify places where we could conceivably go off the rails. And then chapter 1, one of the easiest and most obvious ditches to fall into is that of building our expectations on our idealized notions of the past. Yes. And a friend of mine recommended the Mistmantle Chronicles to me for my family, and when I took my kids to a library bookstore, they had book 2 for 50 cents, so I thought I'd go ahead and pick it up. I'm not going to read what it's about because I think it has spoilers, but chapter 1 for a taste of what the writing's like. Wild seas and storming rain had battered the coast of Mistmantle all night, making squirrels scurry down from lurching treetops and hide in the roots. I'm running out of room on my cart. And for homeschooling, I finally got my hands on book 5 of the History Lives series by Mindy and Brandon Withrow. I think we left off in book 2 or book 3 last year. And this covers Christian heroes and martyrs from 1860 AD through tomorrow. That'll go on our homeschool shelf. I got A Circle of Quiet by Madeline L'Engle. There's nothing about it on the back, and I forgot to look it up before I started filming. I may have heard about this one from Shatona. First sentence is, we are 4 generations under one roof this summer, from infant Charlotte to almost 90 great-grandmother. This is actually on my list of books, 25 to read in 2025 for next year. I don't even know if it's nonfiction or fiction. I will find out. And then I got Thoroughfare by Christopher Morley. He wrote Parnassus on Wheels and The Haunted Bookshop, which I really enjoyed last year. This was one that I put on my list to read 25 to read in 2025, but I didn't know how I'd get my hands on it. But then I found a used copy for less than $15, so I got it. Actually, I think I bought this and A Circle of Quiet, and got A Circle of Quiet for free with a free book credit. I actually printed out a cheat sheet for this one. Once again, Chris Morley is himself, this time in the person of small Jeffrey Barton, English lad, shortly to become Jeff Barton, American citizen in the making. It has, so Jeffrey, British, Geoffrey, American, Jeff, Jeff. The book takes its title from a winding street that goes through the English village where Geoffrey is being brought up by a regiment of aunts. Into this Aunt Hill comes the almost legendary Uncle Dan from America, and before he goes back again to that wild west of Chesapeake's, substitute Baltimore, he persuades his sister Bee and Geoffrey to come with him. There's an immediacy in the pattern of the days that follow, as Geoffrey Brighton becomes Geoffrey Britton becomes Jeff American. For highlighted and undertoned are marshaled those little differences between two allies that are great gaps in mutual understanding and sympathy. Differences in pronunciation, in accent, in phraseology, in custom and matter, and emphasis. But it is more than this. It is a searching and sympathetic and understanding picture of a boy growing up, a nostalgic background look into the pranks and disasters and adventures of boyhood, the cruelties and the imaginings, the dreams and the realities. Therefore, I think that's a typo. I think it's supposed to be thoroughfare. Becomes a symbol of the winding thread linking England and America, and at its close, newly made citizen Jeff Barton is about to go back to England for a holiday to revisit the scenes of boyhood. Uncle Dan arrives, 1897. The cat got into the milk at the same moment that Uncle Dan arrived from America. Not the strongest first sentence. So, my library did not have, they came to Baghdad by Agatha Christie, so I ordered a copy. And Thrift Books sent me the Tuesday Club Murders. Which I contacted them and they're like, oh, we'll send you the right book. Don't worry about sending that back. Which, this matches the editions I've been collecting, and I didn't have it in this one, but Thrift Books has been making more mistakes lately. And I feel bad constantly being like, hey, I ordered very good condition, and the last page is torn out of my book. That happened with a kid's book I ordered. And then this one, they sent me the completely wrong book. I mean, right author, but anyway. This, the Tuesday Club Murders, I've actually read. It is the short stories that introduced Miss Marple, and each of the stories is a mystery. Miss Marple surprises everyone with how well she can solve them. So then they sent me They Came to Baghdad by Agatha Christie in the same edition. I'm like, great. I don't even care that it's not the one I ordered, but they didn't actually have this one listed as a possibility, so I was happy when it came in the mail. And I hope to get to this before December, but I don't know. I've read one book off my TBR. I've read a couple not on my TBR. Tona, stop giving away free books. No, I'm kidding. Yes, keep giving away books. I'll read them. But anyway, this one follows Victoria Jones. She fell head over heels for the charming young man one afternoon, and by nightfall Victoria Jones had conspired to follow him to Baghdad. But no daydream of love could match the real-life adventure that unfolded. A stranger was stabbed in her bed. Someone issued a hushed warning, and her rival for Edward's affections neatly arranged her kidnapping. From the steamy Arab marketplace to the vast arid desert, Victoria was pursued by an unknown power that threatened not only her, but the fate of the entire world. Well, that's a good synopsis. Whoever wrote that on Goodreads. Chapter 1. Captain Crosby came out of the bank with the pleased air of one who has cashed a check and has discovered that there is just a little more in his account than he had thought there was. Not the best for sentence, but interesting. And then finally, Amazon was running a deal, get 3 for the price of 2, so I ordered books for my kids, for 2 of my kids, for Christmas, and I treated myself to The Bark of the Bog Owl. Words today, just not happening. This has been on my radar for a while, and then they came out with these new editions for the 20th anniversary, and I like these. So, Aiden Errolson comes from a long line of storied adventurers, but he never has any real adventures of his own. That, he believes, is one great injustice of his otherwise happy life. All that will change the day he hears the bark of the bog owl and meets Dobro Turtlebane of the Fiji folk, a tribe of half-civilized swamp dwellers who fight too much, laugh too loud, cry too easily, and smell just terrible. It talks about the addition. Instead of the first sentence, it starts with a letter, and I want to just read the whole letter because it's awesome. His Majesty, King Darrow of Cornwald, protector of the people, defender of the faith, keeper of the island, Tam Bluff Castle, west bank of the River Tam, Tam Bluff, Cornwald. My dearest King, you'll be glad to learn that I am still available for any quest, adventure, or dangerous mission for which you might need a champion or knight-errant. I specialize in dragon slaying, but would be happy to fight pirates or invading barbarians if circumstances require. I would even be willing to rescue a fair maiden imprisoned by evil relatives. That would not be my first choice, since I am not of marrying age. Still, in peaceful and prosperous times like these, an adventurer takes whatever work he can find. As always, I am at your service and eagerly await your reply. Yours very sincerely, Aiden Errolson of Longleaf Manor. P.S. I've not yet received an answer to my last letter, or to my 14 letters before that. Mail service being what it is on the frontier, I assume your replies were lost. I hope you don't mind that I have taken the liberty of writing again. I like that. That might have just moved it up on if I'm going to read it. Water break. So, this is a sharp subject. Like I said, I've only read 1.5 books off my TBR for the month. And I tend to actually like to reread this time of year, especially if I'm dealing with sick kids and the busyness of the season. So I'm just gonna say what I think, looking at what I have on my cart, looks good for December. I do have 2 books. I do actually want to read Anticipating the Advent by William Varner. Most Christmas books focus on the light and joy of the season. Anticipating the Advent, however, portrays the dark side of Christmas, because only then will the light shine the brightest. On the night when the host of heaven sang glory to God in the highest, they were arrayed to do battle with the evil forces who wanted to kill the promised child. The seed of Eve was coming to crush the enemy's head and destroy the devil's power. Old Simeon would tell the young mother, Mary, that because her son would be the Messiah, a sword would pierce through her soul in so many ways. It was a not so silent night. My friend from church recommended this. Preface. Chapter 1 is called A Holy Heartburn. Passengers were seated in the jetliner as it climbed to its cruising altitude. Okay. And actually, probably over Thanksgiving, I'll read the December chapter in The Life Giving Home. I've been slowly making my way through this, and read the first 4 chapters in October and November. So I'm gonna read December. And then I do want to read the next Mrs. Halifax. I'm not sure if you can see, but there's a helicopter in a castle. Looks fun. Let's see. Descent to the Middle East. This is the second to last one. I'm actually currently reading them before that. I've wanted to reread A Place to Hang the Moon because I think it ends like Christmas Eve or Christmas. There's 3 children and they're orphans, and they have money, and then their grandmother dies, so they're left without a guardian. And this is during the Blitz, and so they're sent out of London, and they hope that whoever takes care of them during the war can become permanent guardians. But they're kind of told, don't tell people that you're rich and need a guardian. So, and then I want to read the next one in the Scottish Bakehouse Mystery series. You'll be sorry, this is the December one. On the first day of Christmas, Molly Ferris's true love gave to her one of many anonymous pranks leading up to Loch Miller's upcoming Yule Festival. Initially, Molly and her best friends Laura Donovan and Carol McCallan are charmed by the silly 12 Days of Christmas gifts showing up at their Scottish Bakehouse spread on arrival. However, the fifth day presents ghastly tidings: the murder of local real estate agent Eric Wright, who's found dead with 5 golden rings on his fingers. Charity Girl is the last book I have on my 24 books to read in 2024. I'm not even quite sure what it's about, but I wanted to try out Georgia Hare for a while. The Nutcracker Suite. This is in the Ever After Mysteries. Shatona told me I don't actually need to read all of them. I read her other one, and there's a little bit of cameo of the characters from that one. Oh. A painter at the Myers Toys Factory, Clarice Stahl, knows something is strange about the way so many men come and go through Mr. Myers' office, especially one in particular. Then murder strikes a little too close to home and uncorks a barrel of secrets. Glossary of slang. That is helpful. May 1926. Heads rolled into the painter's corner and nearly ran over Clarice Stahl's feet. Also by Shatona, Christmas on Breaker's Point. Mallory Barrows has one last Christmas with her uncle. She's determined to make it the best one he's ever had. Her phone buzzed. Without taking her eyes from the page, Mallory Barrows fumbled about until her hand closed around it. The book held her bound in ropes of suspense as the villain slipped into the party unnoticed, unseen. Good opening. Needed more than just the first sentence. And then Snowcross Letters. I've actually read this one at least twice, so I'm always up for a reread. Sometimes I save this for the first week of January. Just feels appropriate. So, the main character, Izzy, receives a package from someone else, and she tries to return it, and it ends in this kind of note going back and forth thing, and she thinks it's an old guy, and he thinks she's an old lady, but they're both like 20s, 30s. It's cute, it's sweet. There's a sentence, something about, I'm sorry I opened it, but I was expecting a book, so who can expect anything else? Yeah, that's all I have for today. Oh, I guess I kind of distributed all my books, but here, I'll hold up a few to represent book haul, TBR, pile of possibilities. Let me know what you plan on reading in December, if you've gotten any good books in November, and happy reading!